Am I the a-hole for how I responded to my ex and his affair partner about her infertility? My ex-husband, 40 male, cheated on me, 34 female with a coworker, 36 female, otherwise known as the affair partner. I found out about the affair 3 years after it started. At the time, my husband and I had 3 very young children together. I kicked him out and filed for divorce. He moved in with his affair partner. They fought for full or primary custody of the children in the divorce, using the 2-parent household as an excuse. They lost. Custody is shared and parenting time is 50-50. He married her before the ink was dry on our divorce papers. Things were, and on my end still are, very hostile. She didn't like that I wished for him to do the same to her. He didn't like that I told his family I tested for STDs after learning of his affair. The only reason I told his family was they wanted to know why I couldn't be friends for the kids' sake. I told them because before the affair partner, there was another co-worker I now suspect he also had sex with, or wanted to at least, and because of those 2 things, I wanted to be sure he didn't give me anything. My ex told me it was petty and gross when he had 1 affair only, and it was only with 1 woman for 3 years. My ex and I use a co-parenting app for communication, and I ignore calls and texts. The times this gets tricky is face-to-face. I need to keep up some kind of civility if my kids might see us together, which is more difficult than some would believe, but I love my kids more than I hate him. Our kids are all school-aged now and doing okay. They prefer my house and have a hard time being at their dad's house some weeks. I have them seeing a therapist to help them process, but I know none of this is ideal. My ex and his affair partner were warned about pressuring the kids to call her mom or mama or something, which they were doing for a while, and this was backed up by the therapist. The kids don't like the affair partner, and I celebrate that in my head every single day. You will never hear me say I'm sad they don't feel like they have 2 moms when she's supposed to be the second mom. I find her disgusting for thinking she can knowingly help destroy their parents' marriage and then try to make them hers. I do not share any of these feelings with my kids, but the kids know there are issues between mom and dad. They also have some understanding that their dad cheated. This was not something I told them, but something that came from how badly he tried to explain things to them when they asked. He doesn't believe in therapy, so there was no professional backup to help him. So anyway, around Halloween, my ex and the affair partner approached me at the school's Halloween event. Ex told me we needed to speak, and I told them unless it was about the kids, we did not. In a quieter moment, they caught me alone and told me that the affair partner is infertile and cannot have biological children, and they have been trying for years. They told me it would mean so much if I would let go of my hate for them and be kinder to her, and encouraging to her and the kids bonding so that she doesn't feel like an outsider forever. He told me her infertility was painful and she loves our kids, and that I have successfully stopped them from bonding with her. But as someone who always wanted to be a mom and got to be, I should be compassionate. I asked them why they were telling me their personal private business that had nothing to do with me. My ex went from calm and pleading to pissed in seconds. He told me that was a disgusting reaction, and that at the very least, I could have offered her my sympathies as my fellow co-parent and our kid's third parent. I walked away because I did not want to discuss it or argue in case someone, especially our kids, heard. He then texted me several times that night asking where I get my disgusting insensitivity from. He also tried to bring it up at a meeting the 2 of us had with the school over one of our children, who was not present. I'm ignoring him, but he's enraged, and I had to send the texts to my attorney for documentation. I expected this to have blown over by now, and clearly it hasn't. For that reason alone, I wanted to check what other people thought of my response. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. It's almost comical. He wants you to sympathize with his wants? I know you would prefer to have the kids 100% of the time and child support from him. He only cares about sympathy when it works in his favor. I think my kids would be better off with me, but I'm realistic that he would need to majorly screw up for that to happen, and I can't wish that for their sakes. I just hope he does better by them. Just keep in mind that he is demanding one-way sympathy after he cheated on you for 3 years. I think he lost any sympathy privileges from you. At the very least, I could have offered her my sympathies. When she broke up your home and wrecked the life of those same children, was she remorseful or sympathetic? I would have told them children are a gift from God, then stared really hard at her, not the a-hole. I told my idiot brother's wife that the only reason she couldn't have a baby is because babies don't grow in evil. She criticized my parenting and made some stupid comment about my son. That was in the middle of a huge argument after our mother died, and he had been so obstructionist cleaning the property to sell it and finalizing probate. It took another 7 years to get it all done. Next story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to help my brother and sister-in-law while they're struggling by meal prepping a few meals a week for them and their kids? I, 17 male, have an older brother, James, 28 male, who's married to Erica and has 3 kids with another on the way. Me and James don't have a relationship. I feel like he resents me for being born, or like I stole our parents from him or something, because he was always a huge jerk to me. I'm talking about putting stuff where I couldn't reach it when I was little, locking me in my room because he could, and dropping me off at the neighbor's house when he agreed to babysit and was getting paid for it so our parents could go out. When James met Erica, she was a jerk to me too. She made fun of the way I talk because of my stutter, and she ignored me unless our parents were there. For a while, my parents and James had a bad relationship because of how he, and Erica later, treated me. But they made up and became close again and stayed close, even when he didn't invite me to his wedding. They ignore my birthdays. They ignore me at Christmas. They never invite me to parties they throw. And it's not an age thing because kids younger than me get invited. It's all a me thing. I asked James why he hates me and he ignored me. And when I tried to push him to answer, he laughed in my face and told me to get away from him. James and Erica have their 3 kids, who I don't know by the way, and they have another on the way. Erica's had a rough pregnancy, and my parents help keep their house clean on weekends, and they have sent them money. But my parents don't really cook much, and I cook usually on Sundays and meal prep lunches for school and other stuff. I pay for the ingredients I use, because I don't really like the stuff mom and dad sometimes buy, and it's sometimes because we and they mostly eat takeout for dinner. James started asking for food, so Erica and him didn't need to worry about that so much. My parents said I should do it since I meal prep already, and James said it would be perfect. My parents said to use the stuff they buy and meal prep for James's family, but I told them I won't put my time into making food for people who treat me like trash. My parents said they're still our family, and James was like, WTF, why are you okay with hurting my family, when our parents told him. My parents said they were very disappointed in me, and that this was the chance to build some bridges. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. It's not the victim's job to try to start building bridges. Something your parents have to know already. They don't care about that. He could do worse and they'd still ask me to do this for them. I would have thought refusing to invite me to his wedding would have said it all but no. Tell your parents that you are disappointed that your brother has always been your bully and disappointed in them that they let it happen. Not the a-hole. Your parents are disgusting for even asking that after all they did. Your brother and sister-in-law are bullies. They are also stupid, having so many kids when they clearly can't take care of them. Your big brother is the problem child, and very often parents make the other sibling do stuff to help the problem child. I would personally say something like that, you're deeply sad and maybe even traumatized, if that's the case, by how they treated you. Ask for therapy if that's what you want. In other words, make their behavior toward you everyone's problem. Totally fine to cry if they try to belittle this and say being bullied that way is affecting you. You might even want to talk to a school counselor about it. The way your family treats you is not normal. Your brother and sister-in-law's stupid decision to have this many kids is not your problem, especially since they acted that badly toward you. I talked to my school counselor about the home issues before. The only reason it came up in the first place is because teachers remember my brother and asked me about him, and I was honest that I don't know how he's doing because we don't talk, and it raised concern. She asked me if I tried speaking to my parents, and when I said yeah, we went through what I said and what they said, and she realized that there was 0 point in trying more. My parents don't want to get me my own therapist or anything like that. They didn't even know I spoke to the school counselor. Next story. Am I the a-hole for being unable to be supportive of my son having a relationship with his biological father? My son and I found out that I was not his biological father, and my former best friend was when he was 13 years old. He's still my son, and I love him, so I never abandoned him. But my marriage was over at that point and my friendship. My former best friend wanted to have a relationship with my son once the truth came out, but my son said no. My ex-wife wanted them to know each other too, but he ran away to my house every time she tried to set it up, and eventually his wish to live with me was granted. My son sees his mom once every 1 to 2 months. There's no set amount of time he has to see her, but their relationship has not been the same since he found out. The lies my ex told hurt our son a lot. For the last few months, my ex has been trying to convince me I need to be supportive of our son having a relationship with his bio father. She said it's best for him if he can have all of us in his life, and that if I love him regardless, why does it matter? I told her because I hate the man who knocked her up, and the loathing I have for him makes it impossible for me to play nice or actively encourage a relationship between the two. I told her it was horrible enough to have her in my life still for our son's sake, but I drew the line at including him in that. I told her I hated them both, and they made this bed, and they could lie in it. She told me if I really loved our son like I said, I would be willing to do anything for him. She told me I'm being selfish and petty, and that he won't have a relationship with his bio dad because he knows it would hurt me. I hate that she got under my skin with that. I know that my stance on this is selfish, but I could never play nice or civil with that a-hole for my son's sake. As much as I love him, it would kill me to be around that guy again. As it is, being around my ex occasionally is hard enough. My son is still a minor, by the way, but he's going to be 18 sooner than later. Am I the a-hole? How did you find out? I don't want to go into specifics, but it was something my wife ended up blurting out. Wow, she is beyond awful. Did the ex-best friend know the entire time your son was biologically his? Are the ex-wife and friend together now? She doesn't actually care about your son or you. She only cares about herself. If she can make your son and bio dad communicate, then she must not have done something so awful and unforgivable. This is all to make her feel better and to prove to others that it isn't a big deal. I hope your son is going well, and that therapy might help you both. They're not together now, and he knew there was a chance at the very least, if he didn't outright know my son was biologically his. Not the a-hole. The only person whose wishes should matter here is your son. If he doesn't want a relationship with his bio dad or his mom, that is his choice, and one that should be respected. The only way in which you could possibly be considered an a-hole is if you are actively discouraging it or bad-mouthing them to your son. No matter how much their actions hurt you, that would never be okay. Your ex seems to not understand that she didn't just betray and hurt you, she hurt her child. She lied to her child for years about his paternity and blew up his family. These are the consequences of her actions. Keep supporting your son's choices, but make sure you are allowing room for him to soften toward them someday, if that does become something he wants. His mom already let him down. Don't make the same mistake. He should never be made to feel like having a relationship with them is a betrayal to you. I honestly don't know what I'll do if he decides to be close with that man one day. I'll always love my son, but I can't lie and say we'll be able to all come together for him or that I could be in his presence again. The way I feel about him would come out. It would be disruptive. So I hope my son never wants to have a relationship with him. Something inside me will die. I'll never tell my son that, but it's how I feel. Last story. Am I the a-hole for not standing by my sister's side and losing my family over her actions? I'm a 25-year-old woman, and my sister is 30. She and her husband, who is also 30, have been together for 13 years and married for about 7 or 8. My sister is a nasty person. She has gone out of her way to break a good man. She has hit him, thrown things at him, and belittled everything he does. I've witnessed this for the entire 13 years they've been together. He took all of her abuse, always saying he loved her and that she promised to change. Later, he said he couldn't leave because of the children. We talk a lot. He comes to my place, and I've been trying to get him to leave ever since I understood how wrong her behavior was. Well, she finally went too far. She hit him while he was driving, causing him to lose control of the car and rear-end a police vehicle. A passenger in another car saw what she did and heard her screaming at him. She was arrested for assault and domestic violence. My family is supporting my sister, telling everyone that he must have done something to deserve it and insisting he wasn't being abused because a woman can't hurt a man. Yet they've seen her hit him before, many times, including at Christmas. Despite this, my family says I shouldn't speak to him, shouldn't help with my niece and nephew, and absolutely should not give evidence against her. They told me that if I do, I am no longer their daughter. It hurts deeply knowing they would disown me for telling the truth. So I really need an outside perspective. Am I the a-hole if I go through with this? Am I wrong for not supporting her or taking her side? Is it worth losing my entire family, even though I know I'm right for giving evidence and trying to prevent her from hurting another partner in the future? Tell, if for no other reason than the children, they deserve better. Plus, if she's comfortable hitting him, what is stopping her from doing it to the kids? She probably already is. Most don't stop with the kids, but they hide it because for most partners, hurting the children is the line. But she has absolutely 100% crossed that line in 13 years. I'm a female survivor of DV, and so many people knew but didn't offer to help. I even asked my family in another state multiple times to please come, help me get out, but no one would come. I literally finally got out by the skin of my teeth, after my ex held me hostage with a gun in my bathroom for an hour after he broke in. He only left because I lied to him about when my roommate would be home, so he got spooked. Abusers only escalate, especially after doing something as dangerous as she did. DV is usually inherited from adult to child. Is there an adult immediate family member that is also violent, that your family is used to protecting? Not the a-hole, but this may run deeper than this one person. My parents argue a lot. Things get thrown at each other, but I haven't ever seen either one hit anyone. I'm grateful for all the comments so far. I know I'm doing the right by giving evidence, and know I'll end up alone for a long time, but it's feeling more worth it knowing I'm not an a-hole for doing it and betraying my sister.